All right. So after a game like this, you kind of wonder, how do you go about it? Do you keep some perspective and just go, okay, where this is where the 49ers fit in the big picture as far as the NFC West and the NFC, or do you just go scorched earth on them? Because we've seen this now too many times early in the season. I realize it's only 5 games into the year. The 49ers are now 2-3. And so that's really not a big deal in the big picture. If this isn't the San Francisco 49ers, a team where you really thought that the regular season was just a formality to set themselves up for the postseason, perhaps get the number one overall seed in the NFC, which comes with that first round playoff bye, home field advantage, so on and so forth. But now here the 49ers are. 5 games into the regular season, and they're already 4 games behind the Minnesota Vikings for the potential number one seed in the NFC. And so, we saw this in week 2. The Minnesota Vikings are a beatable team. The 49ers did not play well in that game. In fact, they played very poorly in basically all phases of that game, and they lose to the Vikings in a game that was probably much closer than it could have been or should have been. But now the 49ers lose to the Rams in a game they absolutely blew. They are a better team than the Rams. They had a sizable lead against the Rams and they blew it. So that's a second game where they lost, where they just didn't play very good. They get back on track a little bit against the Patriots, but let's face it, the Patriots aren't very good, and the 49ers won that game. Then it's this game against the Arizona Cardinals. And this thing just blew up for the 49ers after leading 23-10 at halftime. The 49ers don't score a point in the second half. They only score one touchdown on 6 red zone possessions in the game, and they end up losing this game to the Arizona Cardinals, a game that Fred Warner said we had the game won and gave it away. Nick Bosa talked about turnovers and not playing complementary football. And so, you know, George Kittle said very disappointed. Kyle Shanahan called it frustrating. But the 49ers just continue to do these things where they let inferior teams stick around, stick around, stick around. Then they have no answers and they end up blowing a game against the Rams a couple of weeks ago and then this game against the Arizona Cardinals. So big picture, 49ers are 2-3. Seattle leads the division with a 3-2 record after their 29-20 loss to the New York Giants. The 49ers go up to Seattle on Thursday, a quick turnaround game. If they win that, which at this point, the way they're playing, that's a crapshoot. That's a flip of the coin kind of game. But if they win that game, they're 3-3. And so would be the Seahawks, and the Cardinals would, their next game, if they win, they'd be 3-3. So nobody in the NFC West is running away and hiding this. But I think the 49ers do deserve a lot of criticism in this game for so many different reasons. And I think once again, it just looked like they were out schemed on offense, particularly. It's not scoring any points in the second half, like I mentioned, their red zone problems. And I'm done talking about Christian McCaffrey as being, the reason the 49ers haven't been good in the red zone. Because look at this team. Brock Purdy has established himself, in 26 starts as being a really good quarterback. Jordan Mason has run the ball very well, and he had some problems in this game on Sunday. He did have a good game as far as what he's able to do running the ball until he had a critical turnover when the 49ers had an opportunity to put the game away with about 6 minutes left in the game. But look at the players that they still have in the passing game with George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and Jawan Jennings. Those are really good offensive players. They have to figure out a way to make this work. I'm done talking about Christian McCaffrey and what his loss means to the team. He is eligible to come off of the injured reserve list for the game Thursday. That's not going to happen. They're going to want to see him work out. They're going to want to, ramp him up to a point where they feel good in putting him back on the field and then feeling like they're going to have him for a while. But the 49ers have too many good players and too much good coaching to not be able to take advantage of the opportunities they have. Okay, so a lot went wrong in this game, and interestingly enough, this the Friars scored on special teams. Their first blocked field goal touchdown since 2009. It was Jordan Elliott who blocked the field goal. Diamador Lenore scooped it up, took it 61 yards for a touchdown. The 49ers looked to be in business. However, I guess the 49ers just can't have good things because on the very next special teams play after the extra point, they Jake Moody didn't kick it deep enough in the end zone for a touchback. DJ Dallas, the only kick returner in this new dynamic kickoff world to have a kickoff return for a touchdown. He returned it from a yard deep, gets out to the 39-yard line. Jake Moody gets into the mix. His leg kind of folds awkwardly underneath him. High ankle sprain. He's out for the game and will probably miss sometime as the 49ers now have to look for a kicker who's going to replace Jake Moody for, we can assume, multiple weeks. So that did have an impact on this game because the 49ers did have an opportunity. They would have had an opportunity to kick a field goal later in the game that potentially would have given them 3 points, but they didn't. Because they didn't have any confidence in Mitch Wishnowsky, the punter, being able to kick a field goal of longer than 33 yards. That was kind of the line that they were going to use. If they were at the 15-yard line or in, they were going to try to kick a field goal. If they were beyond the 15-yard line, they weren't. Some plays that really hurt the 49ers. Obviously, after Kyler Murray's touchdown run on the second play from scrimmage, a 50-yarder, 49ers seemed to tighten up their run defense for a little while, but that run was something spectacular. Kyler Murray got up over 21 miles per hour at peak speed. Really, he was calling his shot, pointing to the end zone when he was just 7 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. So he knew that nobody on that 49ers defense could catch him. But after that, they seemed to really kind of tighten things down. And Kyler Murray did not have many yards rushing. And the Arizona Cardinals didn't have many yards rushing through the end of the first half. But in the second half, the Cardinals offense really took off. It just looked like the 49ers were tired. It was a hot day here at Levi Stadium, and the 49ers looked absolutely gassed, exhausted, even though obviously the Cardinals were playing in the same weather. Listen to this. James Conner, in the first half, 6 carries, 9 yards. In the second half, 13 carries, 77 yards. One of the plays that really haunted the 49ers was on a touchdown pass that Kyler Murray threw to Higgins. He was roughing the passer penalty on Sam Okwanu. That moves the ball to the 1-yard line. The Cardinals decided to go for 2, and James Conner made it through easily. 2-point conversion. That cut that lead of the 49ers to 2 points rather than it would have been 3 if they had just kicked the extra point from the 2-yard line. So that gave the Cardinals the opportunity after Jordan Mason's fumble to go down the field, kick the winning points, and then the 49ers still had a chance. But, there's a mix-up in blitz pickup. Kind of looked like Mason didn't see the guy coming in. It was Jalen Thompson who made the hit on Purdy as he was throwing, and then Kaiser White with the interception. So Purdy's game, it wasn't great. 19 of 35, 244 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. 1 interception was tipped at the line of scrimmage, and then that other interception hit as he was throwing, leads to the turnover. Good day for Brandon Ayuk. He joined the party. 8 catches for 147 yards, but it just wasn't enough for the 49ers as they fall to 2-3 on the season. And I think the thing about the 49ers right now is, and Nick Bosa mentioned this, since Kyle Shanahan's been with the team, since this regime has been here, 49ers generally beat the teams that they should beat. And they almost always beat the teams they should beat when they have them. They had the Rams, they had the Cardinals, but they couldn't put them away. They couldn't add on to their lead. They couldn't go into the fourth quarter and just say, we're not giving you, the opposition, and inferior opposition, any hope of winning this game. So that's where the 49ers are now. They're 2-3. They're right there in the mix for the NFC West, but they're falling really far behind when it comes to the potential number one seed in the NFC. But it also kind of seems weird after 5 games to be even talking about the playoffs. But I am talking about the playoffs because I think we all still expect the 49ers to turn this thing around and to be a playoff team. And as George Kittle said after the game, this is kind of the way the NFL goes. The team you have in September and October might look totally different from the team that you have in November and December and maybe even January. So that's where the 49ers are now. They have to turn this thing around if they want to get back there for the postseason. They want to be a contender in the NFC. They have the players to do it. They have some injuries to contend with Moody, the high ankle sprain. Talanoa Hufanga has a wrist injury. We don't know the extent of that, but Malik Mustafa, the rookie, got in there, had a couple passes defensed in this game. Yetur Gross-Matos, a rotational player on the defensive line, they placed him on injured reserve, but Clea Davis is up from injured reserve, so he takes that spot. The 49ers right now have to figure some things out. They have to figure out defensively what teams are doing. Remember, they're facing the Seattle Seahawks. Their head coach, Mike Macdonald. Mike Macdonald was the defensive coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens last year. And when the 49ers played the Ravens on that game on Christmas night, it was Macdonald's defense that really gave Purdy the most fits that he's ever had in an NFL game, intercepting him 4 times. So it's not going to be easy, but the 49ers have to go back to the drawing board. They now know what that template is, what every team's going to try to do them against them defensively, and now they have to make the adjustments. Those are adjustments they haven't made yet. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe, leave a comment, and like, and we'll be back real soon and get you set for this game, which could be a bounce back game. One of the things that Nick Bosa said was it's a blessing that they're playing on Thursday because they just want to get back out there and play. They don't want to spend too much time thinking about this, and I'm sure the 49ers fan base doesn't want to spend a whole lot of time thinking about this game either.